I knew it, I knew it, I knew it! So we are talking John Wick 3 today, Parabellum, and it's no secret, right? If you have been following this channel, if you're a part of the community, you know that I love the John Wick franchise. I have gone on record as saying if Parabellum is as good as the reviews are reflecting, then it's going to be the best action franchise ever made. Now, some of you guys think that's crazy. You're thinking, surely you're not talking about better than Raiders of the Lost Ark. Some more of you guys are thinking, well, you can't be talking about better than the Mission Impossible franchise. Yes, I'm saying better than all of them. By the way, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like fantasy, action, adventure, we're talking action today, or sci-fi, we got you covered because it's all we talk about on this channel. We would love to have you join the best community here on YouTube. Now, let's get into it. I figure the best thing to do, you guys, is to start with a very brief synopsis. This will be 110% spoiler free, so no worries. But we do have to talk about John Wick 2 a little bit to set up John Wick 3. So we know at the end of John Wick 2, John Wick is excommunicado at this point. We know that he is basically being cut off from all of his resources. But not only that, we know from the end of 2 that there is a price on his head. That sets up what happens in John Wick 3. Now, when John Wick 3 starts, it's cool because we actually start off at the end of John Wick 2 and we continue the story on from that point. It's one of the things that makes the Wick franchise so good. It's so consistent in its storytelling, and that's one of the things that makes it so nice and such a rich and powerful franchise when it comes to pure action movies. Now, I will tell you that the thing that blows me away about the Wick franchise, and 3 just continues this fashion, is the world build. It is tremendous how they have built this world in such a vibrant and colorful way. Now, we can talk about it from just the visual aspect, the impact of what it looks like, what it gives us cinematically with the oversaturated colors, the dark tones, all of the visual aspects of the characters or the players within the world with the tattoos and all the symbolism and the money and how all of these different aspects of this world are operating within a world amongst our own, but we are not aware of it. How they've done this, how they structured the world build of John Wick is what makes it so impressive, and it sets up so many different aspects of the film for us to just really be immersed in. It actually sets up the viability of John Wick's character and him being a part of this world because the world is so uniquely poised to pull us into a story that fascinates us, right? Because it is within the world that we operate in, yet none of us are aware of it. That's the thing that I love probably most. Well, not the most. I have to say the fight choreo is probably what I love the most. And we'll get into that in a second about the John Wick franchise. Is the world and how immersive that world is and how much fun it is just to engage us on so many different levels, from a storytelling aspect, from a performances aspect, and certainly from a visual aspect. They really do a dynamic job of creating something for the audience to really love and immerse themselves in. And you're going to see that as well when you see the film. You will see how fast the movie pulls you in to the world of Wick and how it's so immersive that you can't help but be wrapped up with what's going on in it. I also thought the storytelling was really good in this as well, and some people had some complaints because they felt like the story was a little bit undirected and they really weren't sure what Wick's motivations were. Well, it's easy to follow. The story is consistent with John Wick 1 and 2. The motivations are the same. I'm not going to say more than that because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I didn't find it problematic. I didn't find it dicey. I wasn't wondering, well, what is Wick doing? Why is he doing the things that he's doing? It becomes pretty clear, and I think that you'll see that when you see the movie as well. And if you don't, we can have a discussion about it in the comments. You know how that works on the channel, and you guys know that I will meet you in the comments. But I thought the story execution was good. I thought it was engaging. Some twists, right, in this story as well, which set us up nicely for movies to come after John Wick 3. So I enjoyed the storytelling aspect of it as well. I also love the characters in John Wick. I think they're colorful, I think they're interesting, and I feel like they're really engaging and have a certain depth to them. Now, it's strange to say that, right? Because it doesn't have the character build in terms of multi-layered characters with multiple motivations behind each character, but because they are developed within the John Wick world, they feel like they have some weight, some depth to them. None of them really feel disposable to me, or none of them feel like plot devices to me either. Now, it could be the case that I'm totally in love with this franchise, and that's fair if you want to make that argument, but I think, again, it goes to the credit of the world building. They all feel like necessary elements as part of this world, and they all feel like necessary elements to move the story forward. Now, it's impossible to talk about a John Wick film and not talk about the fight choreography. I think that this sets the bar for action fight choreography in any American or Western film. Maybe not so much if you're talking about Hong Kong cinema, because they always take it up to a different level. But in terms of Western fight choreography, this is fantastic. We get the nice, long, wide shots of fight action, and it is amazing to see. From what I understand, Keanu Reeves did like 98%. 98% of his own stunt work. That is phenomenal. And again, it makes you endeared to the Wick character because you know it's John Wick that's pulling it off. It's not some stunt man that we know because the camera's not showing his face, or the camera's showing us all these fast cuts and all these movements shrouded in darkness so that we really can't tell what's going on. Keanu is pulling this stuff off himself. So with that, you got to say hats off to Halle Berry because she did a lot of her own stunt work as well. And it is a feat. And you can tell that they put in a lot of work. It is amazing to see. It is seamless. It is fluid. It is dynamic. It is awesome. And that is one of the hallmarks, right, of a John Wick movie. The amazing fight choreography. They are like major action set pieces, and you get it from beginning to end. Now, you might think that you might get a little bit fatigued of seeing something like that, but you don't, because of the world that it's in and because of the story that's being driven. You see all of these different fight scenes, and each one looks dynamic, not to mention they display so many different weapons that you never really get tired of it. You actually can't wait till the next one to start, and it's not even really like the whole movie hinges on fight scene to fight scene. It's all fluid. It's all part of the story. It all makes the film enjoyable. I searched high and low to try and find out who the fight choreographer was for this, and I could not find anything. I mean, I Googled it till my fingers were bleeding. If you know who the fight choreographer was for this, please let me know, because that person deserves a lot of credit. Hats off to Chad Stahelski, who was a former stunt person turned director, and it shows by the way that he directs his film. He knows what good fight choreo looks like from behind the camera, and he's able to shoot it in a way that is most enjoyable and most impactful to the audience. So my hat goes off to him as director. He did a fabulous job directing this film. I have to really give a shout out to the use of the dogs in this movie. This was a nice addition to the Wick franchise. We've not seen anything like this prior, but this was amazing. The way that the dogs fought in concert with Halle and Keanu was amazing. It was probably some of, if not the best animal fight choreography that I'd ever seen, and it provided such a nice new fresh take to the movie. I actually hope that we see more of that in Wick films to come. There's just so much good to say about this film. I thought that the pacing was on point. At no point did any part of this movie lag for me. At no point was I bored. I thought that the first, second, and third act was all seamless. It's funny because it's really even hard for me to talk about a first, second, and third act because the movie was so fluid that it all kind of felt really comprehensive to me. I wasn't bored at any point in this movie. As you can probably tell, I enjoy Parabellum very much, but it was not a perfect movie. Believe it or not, I do have one small gripe for this movie, and I don't consider it nitpicky because it bothered me enough to even mention it to you. And that is, there is a performance in this. I'm not going to say what it was, but I did feel like it was a little bit melodramatic. I'll let you guys check the film out and decide if you can even figure out what it is that I'm talking about, and we can get into that in the comments below. But overall, man, this thing was fantastic. And yes, check the box for John Wick being the best pure action franchise ever made. I say the best pure action franchise ever made. Now, if you're new to the channel, I hope that you enjoyed yourself, and I hope that you subscribe and join the best community on YouTube. We got a whole bunch planned. Woo! We got a lot of stuff to get into, you guys. Check out some more videos over here, and with that, I will definitely see you in the comments, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.